The Israel-Palestine conflict should be resolved by a one-state solution. This would be the binational state of Israel-Palestine, and it would have one house of government to rule over all three territories. So the three territories would be the West Bank, Gaza, and Israel. Representatives should be proportional to population size. Representatives should be appointed by the democratically elected governments of each individual territory. And the walls and checkpoints between the territories should come down after 5 years pass without an incident of Palestinian terrorism. This is a graphic to illustrate my idea about the governments. So there's one government over the whole territory, and then each individual territory, the sub-territories, have their own governments, democratically elected by the people. So the West Bank and Gaza, the Palestinian territories, should each have their own governments. The Israeli territory can keep some form of its government that it has now, but this government would be subject to the government that rules over the whole territory. The settlement should stay, but for every Jew living on Palestinian land, one Palestinian from the diaspora must be allowed to return to Israel. This would solve the right of return issue. And because there are limited spots, Israel can pick and choose Palestinians that are gonna contribute to the peace movement, that are gonna bring peace to Israel-Palestine. The Jews living in the settlements should be subject to Palestinian laws and taxes. And then limited settlements should be built in Gaza because it's important for religious Jews to have a presence in the entire land. But this would help to rebuild Gaza because for every housing unit built in a settlement, the people building must build 100 housing units for Palestinians to live in. So the Palestinians that are refugees right now, that are living in tents, would have somewhere to live. This, if this went through, this would be Mashiach. This would be messianic times. We are living in peace. We are living side by side. And any Jew who wants to bring Mashiach should support a peace government and criticize the occupation. We're people who are supposed to really value education. And the fact that Israel has targeted every single university in Gaza shows they don't fight for Jewish values, they don't fight for Jews, and we should be fighting against the occupation because it's antithetical to Jewish values. Jews worldwide should fundraise to rebuild Gaza schools because that's what we do. We know that the solution is education, and we can educate away the hate. Reparations should be paid to the Palestinian people by the Israeli territory for 76 years of occupation. The exact amounts should be determined by the Israel-Palestine peace government once it's operational. More immediately, any Palestinian injured by the occupation should have their medical expenses covered and have access to medical treatment abroad. There's so many Palestinians that are injured in Gaza right now that need access to medical treatment, and they should have that access, and they should be able to leave Gaza to get that medical treatment, and Israel shouldn't be blocking them from accessing that medical treatment. I think the flag for the peace government should just be a olive branch on a white background. This is our white flag. We are surrendering. The occupation didn't work. The walls, the checkpoints, they don't do anything to bring peace. They just exacerbate the issue. And I'm recording this on April 20th. It's Hitler's birthday. Hitler would have been so happy to see the Jews proving to be the people that he said we are. And we do that every day when we support the Israeli government, when we support the occupation, when we support the genocide. And we support it when we're not fighting against it. and we have to fight against it, and we have to bring peace, and we can bring peace, and peace is possible. We just have to all say that we want to make peace. And I think everybody wants to make peace. We want to live side by side peacefully. We want an end to the wars, but we can't agree on how to make that happen. We can make that happen by having a binational state that is ruled by a government made up of representatives from all the territories, so that everybody's represented by their government, so that people aren't subject to laws by a government that doesn't represent them. And yeah, we can bring peace. We can bring Mashiach.